no veas, a Sevilla. Y al último que cuando ya salió la bien de regla.
It is the year 2025 in Raid Shadow. Hang on. The year 2025? Oh yeah, because it was 2024 before, but now it's New Year's Day, and yeah. What a concept, right? Anyway, you're not here for that sort of thing. So, I said I was going to do this a few days ago. I've only got around to it now, but today we are going to be using Toshiro the Bloody in Chimera. Now, as of before, he's not got any soul. Yeah, I did open all my mortal soul stones and a few immortals, and I got nothing of use, which I suppose you would expect given how the odds are unreasonably low unless you're spending on those sort of things. Which, if that's the sort of thing you do, then yeah, sure, it's your money, do whatever you want with it. And he's still a couple levels off because I'm too cheap to use a bruise. His build is the same as it was before, and so yeah, I'll just go over to the Chimera team that I plan to be using. So wait, where is it now? We're going to start off on Nightmare because I haven't done either of my keys yet. And, what's that? So, actually, I'll just go over it either way, shall I? Yeah, I'll do a better job of this at some day, honest. So first off, we have Nekmo Thaar, who he's in 4-piece Merciless and also 4-piece Cursed, which is more for Hydra than Chimera, but the extra debuff can count towards a couple trials, even if there's no hex-based trials themselves. Then we have Lydia, who is very important for this, which is just as well that she's a free champion that everyone gets from clearing faction wars, because you need the defense down and weaken, and the strengthen, and then all of these debuffs as well. And she's in 9-piece protection to get some extra damage out of the rest of my team, and also so that her buffs can't simply just be stolen or removed. I know that these aren't maxed, but again, I'm too cheap to pump to 16, so you know what it's like, right? Okay, next on the list is going to be Pythion, who is in 4-piece Relentless and 4-piece Merciless. Now you're probably thinking, Merciless and a support? Yeah, because this is basically just better reflex set as long as you are attacking. And because Pythion can't actually use his A3 unless someone's dead, this just means you're getting his A2 more often, so more cleansers and more better heals. Past select is going to be Toshiro himself, who, well, you've seen a few times now. And then there is Lady Mikage, who is in my PvP/live arena build. I haven't changed anything there, it's still the same things it was before. But it's mainly for the ally attacks. This, which is actually very helpful at keeping buffs up and if the boss itself gets any. And then we just have this, which joins in with an ally from a Shadowkin faction. What faction is Toshiro from? Yeah, there you go. Now, one thing about this is that, to my knowledge, is that Chimera is still Red Affinity in its alt forms. So this may not go the way we like, and we may be better off just using our previous, which was Legate, Teox, and Acrizia. Or it might have been Marius the Gallent, I can't remember. Now, in terms of AI presets, this is the same for every form. I haven't changed anything at all for any of them because we don't have any massive hits that we need to stop against Viper, and anything else can simply just be used as we have it. So, yeah, without wasting much more of your time, we will get started. Now, this is a full auto fight. We don't really change anything at all, and it's 20 minutes at most because Chimera is capped to 60 turns. So, right, let's start and move this over here, I believe. Yep, that should be fine. So generally we have enough debuffs amongst the team in terms of decrease speed, block actives, defense down, weaken, leech, etc. that we should be able to get anywhere from 7 to 9 trials, but it depends. And in terms of offensive buffs, we do have Perfect Veil, increased speed, strengthen, block debuffs, increased attack, and increased crit damage. Now, a weakness of his team is that it is not the tankiest in the world. We don't have a great ram target in terms of, the completely fair move that just hits someone again and again and again until they fall down. That's going to go on Lydia, and I'm not convinced that she survives it, so Pythion might have to pick her up. And then we also have the other move in Ram's second form, Ram's A2, sorry, that I will go over as it transforms there, because it is a case of Plarium trying way too hard to make bosses do a bunch of different things. But right now, we kind of are just wheeling on it. Toshiro needs a bit of time to scale up at the start in terms of using his A2, but I can tell he's hitting pretty decently hard there. That was about 700,000 on the A3, and it will get a bit higher. Now, obviously, if we did have a blessing for him, even at 2-star, where I gain the extra HP and attack, along with having 1-star Nature's Bounty for the extra 6% damage amp, then great, but, well, we didn't get that, and I don't take this game seriously enough to start just, pulling out the wallet and throwing money at the game until it decides eventually to give me a soul for Toshiro, because, well, we can't actually buy souls for them from this. Okay, so this time around, turns out the boss did no damage at all. So I'm going to go over the A2 of this. So, to not read it all out, this is attack, then also attack, then damage amplifier, then effect, then also effect, then another effect, then another effect. You think they could stop at a certain point, but I guess they had to just keep going. Now, the main thing about Toshiro compared to someone like Legate Teox is Toshiro increases his HP with his A2 and has pretty high base HP in general, so that means that the Reflect is pretty unlikely to kill him, especially when the A2 is 4 smaller hits and not one big one. So after each hit, he's healing up from the leech, then the next one, Reflect, heal, etc. It goes on from there. So he's not going to die that way from it. So the only real concern here is that we are not doing a great deal of damage, because the alt form for Chimera is Red Affinity this rotation. If it changes to green or blue, then yeah, sure. If it changes to green, then we could have a comp that is Mikage, Teox, Toshiro, but then we need someone who is decrease speed, cleanse, revive, etc. in 2 slots, along with Lydia. I don't think any of those champions exist in the game right now. Also, in terms of role compression supports, I want to complain slightly about Lady Noelle here, because she would have been so good in terms of how A2 is a strong heal and also increased speed, and her revive is a 3-turn cooldown. If not for the fact that they put in that freeze effect, which means she will still use that even if no one is dead, even if things can't be frozen, which utterly griefs her for a bunch of PvE content. Another case of Plarium trying to be a little bit too clever regarding skill effect, and it just ultimately doesn't work out very well at all. She is not terrible. I know where we're meant to be using her, etc., but in terms of myself having her as role compression for something like Hydra or Chimera, the fact that she's going to waste her A3 a lot and waste a turn in the process when, turns count in Hydra, because the enemy isn't actually the boss itself, even if Wrath does one-shot your entire team sometimes. I think that's just for times when you don't have decreased attack on it and then it just full crits everything. Also, I believe one issue I've realized with this team now is Pythion is my highest defense, so Lion form is going on Pythion over and over, and on Ultra Nightmare this might be a bit difficult to survive. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it right now. In terms of the amount of damage that I'm doing and the fact that I'm yet to do any trials, I'm not overly convinced that this is going to be better than myself using Legate Teox, Acrizia, Marius, Gnut in some combination. Whichever I feel I'm doing best with for the week. But I am going to let this run the entire duration, mostly so that you can see how this does against Viper form. Now Viper is not always too bad, however the one weakness we have here is we don't have no protected block debuffs. So if Viper steals at all, then places the poisons, it can one-shot everything, potentially. Now, and I know that there's a way to make it so that I'm just not using block debuffs ultimate form to keep the cleanse for Viper's first turn, but at the same time we kind of want the block debuffs for the ultimate Chimera, because otherwise it provokes us and then we do 50% less damage to it. And again, as of before, the enemy is not a boss killing us, it's that 65 turn limit there we're trying to do as much as we can, and right now we are doing about 1 million a turn, because I mean, well, I think you know as well as I do that I do not have the world's strongest Toshiro here. We are giving him the try because I wanted to, and that's how we do it. But also, one upside is Mikage will cleanse Toshiro every turn that she takes, so that is fine in that regard, unless Toshiro moves before Mikage gets another turn, but yeah. Yeah, so in terms of damage, we are fully scaled now, and we are still just doing less than 1 million at a time, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Someone like Legate Teox and his A2, especially when mine is 6-star with Crushing Rend, is going to be doing much, much more than Toshiro is doing right now. But again, I suppose that's obvious, isn't it? A 0-star mythical versus a 6-star. I mean, okay, let's be honest. Legate Teox has mythical tier damage. In fact, I think he's better than most of them in that regard, which is why you saw all those comments as it was. Okay, so does this, and let's see, does Pythion have his cleanse? He does. Okay, we're fine. Because one thing I know about this is, so first off, steals every buff from everything, places all of these, does poison damage instantly, and then we have this, which instant activates all of them twice. So every poison is going to do 10% max HP damage for every single turn in it. So yeah, if you don't cleanse, then you probably just get one-shotted, and obviously your HP or defense stats do not matter too much regarding that. As with every other form of this, all of the debuffs that the Chimera does can be resisted. They all check accuracy. The only things that don't check accuracy are the very exclusive debuffs, so the Lion's Mark, the Ram's Jewel, whichever other, Necrosis, yeah, those don't check it. I don't think they can be blocked either, but anything else is fair game. Although, generally, unless your gear is especially strong, you might find it struggle to fit in over 450 accurate resistance alongside all of your other stats. So that is one thing about it, because it is difficult to have 6 stats on a champion at any one time in terms of crit damage, speed, durability stats, accuracy resistance as necessary. Like, speaking of resistance, I would not be surprised if at some point they made a resistance Yuka, because we have some that scale off accuracy stats. Carnage does it, Embrace the Anomaly does it, and I think there's a couple niche ones who will convert accuracy into another attacking stat, but at some point we might have one who converts resistance into crit damage or something, because we already have Night Queen Acrizia and Star Sage Galathea who convert resistance into accuracy, and other champs just do that in general, like Helior, although Helior's a pretty old champion now. He's fine in niche uses because he's a full cleanse and puts all the debuffs on the target, but his A1 and his A2 don't really contribute that much, because what they keep doing is they keep having these AoEs on... who is it now? It's Helior, Hako and Smashlet, etc., where the shield scales the amount of damage done, when a lot of the time you're building them with an absolute ton of damage stats, so the actual shield is going to be pretty small, when really it should just scale off either their max HP or their defense or something. Alright, so Ram's going to do a funny here, and Pythion's going to just pick it back up like it's nothing. Of course, that's a bit... again, that's another way that Ram's kind of overloaded, because the first time you try to debuff it, it throws it all back on the attacker. And I think they were just trying particularly hard with this form, and obviously it's not impossible. Many people have gotten around it, but at the same time, there's a point where you can just calm down a bit. Don't mind me. I was just checking that there wasn't any other sound on from something else, because I have had to re-record things a couple of times because I have had something on the background and I forgot about it because I don't have my headphones in. Yeah, they're just cheap earbuds, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could tell from a lot of what I'm doing that we are existing here on poverty mode. You know, I'm going to make the joke about how this is just how the UK is, but, well, I've made it now, haven't I? So by now, we've already gone through the entire boss over once. It's not going to turn into Ram form again for the entire thing. And you can tell right now that we are not doing too great in terms of trials. We've done a few, like this one obviously is very easy when we have 2 leech providers and our damage dealer scales off leech, but in terms of actual score, this is not looking too good. So what I'm going to do here is, to save you a bit of time, I will just cut ahead to the end after this is finished and show you the overall damage distribution, but this is not a one key, so to speak. Nightmare, you have to do 84 million, I believe. Might be closer to 85, but yeah. And it's out of here. So we are about 20 million short of a 1 key on Nightmare. Toshiro predictably did most of the damage, and I'm sure if we had another damage dealer or one who could do like sort of some of like Nekmo does, but with just higher damage ratios, etc. I'd have to see who there is in terms of attacks, target, decrease speed, something else along the lines of that, but off the top of my head I can't think of anyone that I actually possess. I could be wrong though. Anyway, so would this do a 1 key with better gear, blessing stats on Toshiro? Yes. Is this the best thing you can be using for Chimera? No. Is this better than using Marius, Gnut, Legate, Teox, Acrizia, etc.? No. Was it worth a try? Yeah, it was. Okay, so I'll make sure to click edit team and not keep result, otherwise I've proved myself. So again, for anyone who missed, this was our Toshiro build. The 2 extra levels would not have done an extra... Oops, hang on. An extra 20 million, I imagine, but we might try it again next Affinity rotation in case he really was suffering that much. But again, I have better options than using that current team comp right now. But either way, that's what experimentation is for, right? And all it cost us is... It didn't cost us anything at all, because we spent the time. We didn't lose the time. Anyway, so... Yep, that's all for me. Suppose I might as well say that. Enjoy the rest of your New Year's Day, unless by the time you see this, it is the 2nd or something. And yeah, we're done, so... See ya.